What type of day are you having? That's right, folks. What type of day are you having? This is Jerry Franklin Poe coming at you live again with another episode of the 31 Days of Sharing. Throughout the month of December, we're sharing twice a day, 11 a.m. and 7 p.m. My Reluctant Success family, how are you doing today? What type of day are you having? That's my thought. What type of day are you having? Some people will say they're having good days. Some people will say they're having a bad day. Some people will even say, I woke up on the wrong side of the bed, right? Have you heard these things before? Well, I was reading some notes to myself. It was probably a book I read something like almost 20 years ago, and it changed my perspective on this. And I decided, because it was a decision whether or not I have a good day or a bad day, I decided I was no longer going to have a bad day, that no day that I was alive would be a bad day, that every day that I was able to get up in the morning would be a good day, would be some type of day that was going to be a positive day, that I decided to change my perspective on the day. And this is all a choice. Like, how you see your day, how you see your life is all a matter of perspective. It's all a matter of attitude. It's all a matter of mental positive thinking or negative thinking, right? Optimism versus pessimism. And I have a tendency to, if those who don't know this, I do have a tendency to sway to the pessimistic side, right? I have this type of pessimistic thinking. So I am a optimist by choice, but a pessimist by nature. That makes any sense at all. So it's almost like I have to work. I have to work at thinking positive. I have to work at thinking big. I have to work at challenging my mind to always see that silver lining in the cloud, so to speak. So I decided that I was not going to have bad days, that I would have character building days. That's right, folks. I do not have bad days. I have character building days, and some days are more character building than others. This time of the year is especially challenging with that because now we just have a snowstorm coming through the East Coast. And December was always the time that I would be having my last one or two events for the year, traveling around the country. And it always seemed like in December that my last tour, my last run, it always seemed for some odd reason I would have to connect through Chicago O'Hare Airport. So if you've traveled or you've been through O'Hare Airport, you know that it can be challenging negotiating through that when you have to connect planes, right? Sometimes the connection time is really small. You have to get from one plane to another. So it usually happens that around this time of the year, with weather and with connection times being minimal and with delays in and out of airports from place to place, that I would usually have some point of being stuck. I would be stuck in O'Hare, right? And these were where I would call some of the more character building days, because you have to deal with people, attitudes from other passengers, attitudes from people who work in an airport. So I would have to choose the attitude that I wanted to have. I'd have to choose the perspective that I wanted to have on this type of experience. And what I found is how I saw the situation and how I acted in the situation would determine how quickly I got home, because people are more willing to cooperate with you and to help you if you come to them with the right energy. I would notice that some folks would get up there, they would come to the counter mad and angry and upset, and they would start barking at the person. And a lot of times the person on the other side, they're typing in the computer, looking up, typing in the computer. I don't know what they're seeing. Now, I know how I would feel if someone's barking at me, yelling at me, upset with me. I don't know if I would be as willing or as helpful as I could be. I would help them, but it wouldn't be like I'm going to go out my way to do extra to help you. I'm not going to be checking all the possible routes. I'm going to be just like barely answering your question, right? How would you feel if someone's like yelling at you at your job if you're the airport person? Now, I've never been that airport person, so I can't say for real how I would act, but I just know that if someone is yelling at you, upset with you, angry with you for something that wasn't your fault, it doesn't lead you to want to be giving the extra effort. Typically it doesn't. That's human nature, right? You'd have to really be a super happy-go-lucky person to want to keep giving the extra effort to someone who's being mean to you. So my objective was always to help them help me, right? That might sound familiar if you watch Jerry Maguire. Like, he was like, Jerry, Help me help you. Help me help you. So I wanted to give them the positive energy, a positive attitude. So these would be the more character building days where I didn't really feel, like I was in a good state, because I don't want to be stuck in the airport. I want to be home. I want to sleep in my bed. But this would be where the challenge would be to your character, my character, more character building days. Some days are more character building than others because they challenge me to go up and beyond the call. They challenge me to go up. They challenge me to think at a higher level in order to create a win-win situation for myself and for the other person. These are the days that are more character building, where it pulls out that mental toughness within inside you. It pulls out your resilience. It pulls out the ability that's deep down inside you to win, even though the situation or the circumstances may not look as bright as they could be. And if you think about what we're going through in our country at this time of the year, or think about what we're going through in this world at this point in the year, through all these changes that happen, a lot of this has been a character building year, right? You don't want to classify it as a bad year. It's been a character building year. This year has helped some of us build more character than probably previous years. So just like you can have a character building day, you can have a character building week, you can have a character building month, you can have a character building year. And some months, some weeks, like some days are more character building than others. So I challenge you to look at your perspective and how you see your day and the type of day that you're having, and ask yourself, is this a character building day? And if that's your perspective, you want to adopt that strategy of, am I having a character building day? Then it will only cause you to act accordingly, because remember, what we say to ourselves, how we think, the questions we ask, they cause our brains to focus in a particular direction. So part of being reluctantly successful is changing the language that you speak about how you categorize your day, because the power of life and death is in the tongue, that you are speaking it into existence. A lot of people might say that they're getting a headache, right? Like, oh, I'm getting a headache. And then what happens is usually they end up with a headache, or I'm getting sick. You ever people say that? I'm getting a headache, or I'm getting sick. It's the same thing that we've grown accustomed to saying, I'm having bad days. So instead of having bad days, I challenge you to adopt the philosophy of having character building days and recognizing that some days are just more character building than others. That's right, folks. Some days, just like I know, some days are more character building than others. So until next time, for those of you who are following, share these videos out. If you're getting good content, great content, if you're getting benefit from this, share it out. Like the video, put your comments in. What type of day are you having? Do you have a special type of way you classify your days? I picked character building for mine, but what about you? What way do you classify your day that is empowering you to give you a perspective that's going to still cause you to win and be reluctantly successful, to have reluctant success in your life? So until next time, my friends, be valiant, be vigilant, and